Hi, good afternoon. This is Vijay Vedra Butler. I see few attendees in here already, so we'll get started in a few minutes. We have we have another 10 more minutes, so we will begin sharp at 3 o'clock. Thanks for joining and thanks for waiting. And there you go. I started recording, and it will be made available. And this is a webinar that will be made available in 24 hours. And we will share the link where you can share it, download it, however you want to use it. And before we begin, just few quick logistics. Everybody who has joined is all the attendees are on mute except me and Alex. And I'm joined here with Alexander Johnstone from World Advisory. So me and him, we are doing this webinar together. And we both are unmuted. Everybody else is muted. You can still put your questions on the chat. We are a relatively small group, so we would like to keep this interactive. We have multiple sections in the webinar where we will pause and answer any questions. So feel free to ask your questions. And you also have a raise your hand under those options. So if you want, if you see any additional information that you need, please feel free to raise your hand. We'll try to keep it interactive. We'll also have at the end of the session 10 minutes, I would say, depending on how we go here, for any specific questions and answers. So we'll take care of that. Now, the whole objective of this webinar is four things that I want to get. I want to ensure that I share more information on. One, provide a snapshot of what the current state of cybersecurity as it is relevant for small business, right? What's the current state? Discuss why it is important for us to focus on it now, right? Why is it now? Why do we want to look at it now? And why is it? And what the third is lay out what can we do about it? Some basic hygiene, cybersecurity hygiene, and areas that we have done a lot of analysis where we feel it can be improved. And the fourth is showcase some of the areas that we have the expertise as Intersoft Security in partnership with World Advisory. We have certain expertise where we can help small business mature their cybersecurity posture. Okay. All right. Just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Vijay Vedanabatla, and I'm the managing director and board advisor for Intersoft Security. We are based out of Rockaway, New Jersey, and we are a global company. We are based, the US headquarters is based out of New Jersey. The worldwide headquarters is based out of India and Australia. And we have branch offices in Singapore, Israel, and other areas. We have over 350 customers. We specialize in cybersecurity and application security, everything around IT security, right? And I have, and my LinkedIn information is out there. And as I said, I'll share this information if anybody wants to connect. I always like having one-on-one conversations, and I encourage that with small business particularly. I have over 20 years of experience in providing cybersecurity for startups, small business, mid-size, and Fortune 500. And my reason for getting into small business and small and medium business cybersecurity is kind of in a way unique, right? I have done multiple large organizations helping companies mature their programs, mature cybersecurity. And what I've realized is one of the weakest links always ties back to when every time I participate in a breach activity or in activities where we have to improve the security posture, it ties back to something that is not core of a large enterprise, because they have the resources, they have the resources to support cybersecurity initiatives. But when it comes to small and medium business, those resources become scarce. So my passion has always been how can I improve, how can I help small and medium business improve their cybersecurity, make it more affordable, make it more accessible. That's been my passion, and this is part of that journey that I'm going through right now. And I also have Alexander Johnstone from, sorry about that, from World Advisory. And like Alex, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure,
Very happy to have
absolutely.
You.
Yeah. Can everybody see me on here? I can't see the myself on the screen. Am I visible or?
Let me pause me myself. So I'll have to disconnect so you can put it, Alex. Hold on 1 second. All right, I switched my camera off. So if you can switch on your camera, Alex.
Oh, I didn't realize it was off.
So it's third from the top.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. No. Sorry, yeah, I'm not finding where the screen share.
It's third from the top. There's a camera icon. So if you just click that.
Huh. I guess they don't have it on the on the mobile app.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll get the audio version of it. Oh my gosh, this whole app is crashing.
Yeah, we are able to hear you, Alex.
Yeah, just for all you out there listening, yeah, my name is Alexander Johnstone. I'm the founder and CEO of World Advisory. I'd like to thank everybody for attending on here, taking the time out of your day. Thank you to VJ for putting together the presentation. Thank you to everybody from Intersoft for all the work that you do in cybersecurity and for small businesses and medium-sized business. My firm, World Advisory, we provide personalized and affordable small business consulting services to help people start and grow businesses. And our professional business consultants are able to work with entrepreneurs, small business owners of all types, all industries, to help save time, save money, avoid making mistakes, avoid headaches, and receive personalized guidance and assistance along the way. And in addition to our consulting services, we connect entrepreneurs and small business owners globally through events, media, partnership, philanthropy, and more. And as part of that initiative, we work with firms like Intersoft that work with small business owners. And we've collaborated to put together this webinar series that we intend to be doing monthly. And as part of that initiative, the cybersecurity is a part of small business that's so frequently overlooked and so vital to the health and prosperity of every small business. And as Vijay mentioned, it's about providing an education and making cybersecurity more accessible to small business owners. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish with these, is to create a platform to help people understand the trends regarding cybersecurity, the threats that are present, and any strategies that can be implemented to help mitigate any risks. As you mentioned, that we're hoping to make this interactive. So yeah, feel free to chime in with any questions or anything like that. And otherwise, enjoy. Thanks, Vijay. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thanks, Alex. Great to have you. And Alex has been really helpful. We have been partnering so much, learning so much from him on the challenges and the opportunities with small business. So great to be working with you, Alex. So all right. So I always get asked this question: are we secure yet? Right? Are we secure? Are we at a point where we can say, all right, we have all the technology solutions, all the to ensure that we are secure? Because technology has been evolving so much in the past few years. Short answer, no. There are, and here's the reason why, right? There are certain areas that are hurting bad, right? There are certain areas where we have made great improvements from a technology, from human behavior, identifying something malicious, right? Identifying, hey, this person, some access, this person shouldn't be accessing this site, or this data shouldn't be here, kind of thing, right? We have always had that, and we have learned from so many things and so much awareness that has been brought into this. But there are certain areas that are hurting this cybersecurity industry, and particularly for small business. And that's something I want to show some examples. And the first area that I definitely, and some of you may have heard about it, and this will be a good time to kind of refresh. And I have a couple of real examples, real samples that I will share today. And it's called phishing, right, with a PH in the beginning. What does that really mean? It's basically sending emails that falsely claim to be legitimate, right? And there are a couple that are really prevalent. And in some cases, they are easy to be found. So the technology solutions are out there to stop them. But they are getting smarter. People are getting smarter. Now there are automatic phishing campaigns that can be developed, right? There's no human development, human intervention in creating those, but it's completely automated. So that really challenges the other technology side of things, where they have to be stopped, right? And I'll share a couple of good examples that I have, and that will make the discussion a little bit more interesting. All right, and let me share this. Okay, if you guys can, if you all can see my screen, this is a real phishing email. It looks like it's coming from Amazon. The look and feel, if you look at just this portion of it, everything looks like Amazon. It looks like a real email, and it's one of the things. And if you look, and I wanted to share this because if you the way you attempt to look at whether it is a real email or a phishing email, I'll give you some pointers. And this one was constructed really bad because if you look at it, it's pretty evident. It says Amazon.com, but the email, if you see. So the first thing always to look for is the email address that it's coming from, right? And if you look at it, this one right here, it is not Amazon, right? But they get smarter. In some cases, we have seen it looks and feels like an Amazon email, but the extension is not Amazon, right? It may be Amazon something. You know, they'll put Amazon in that word and create because you can spoof those email addresses. And the other thing to look at, because they all, if you hover over the links, and you usually, and this one is I've screen scraped it, so you would not see in this, but when you hover over the links, you should be able to see the links that it redirects to in the bottom, and you will be able to find out that they are not Amazon. Okay. Now, why do they do all of this? What's the whole purpose? When you click on any of those links, they redirect you to a page where they'll say that there's an offer, there's something available for you, and request you for either your payment information or your card or your personal information, that they will then use it to kind of take the next steps from an attack perspective. All right, that's one example I wanted to share. And another example, which I have uh, I've seen in the past week or so, is now you will see more of these Amazons because of the whole shipping, the time of the year we're in. You will see more of that. And the other one that's interesting that I wanted to share is account locked, right? These are emails that play with our mindset. You know, as soon as you see an account locked, you get, oh yeah, I got to do something. I have to take an action. They kind of force you to take an action, right? And we miss to observe where it's coming from. Again, same thing, right? Where it's coming from. What is it? What are the links redirecting to? These are the things that before you kind of start taking that next step, even whether you are being rushed, pause, right? Look at these pointers, where they are pointing to, and then pause and realize what they are showing you and what they are redirecting to, and then figure out whether you want to proceed with it or not, right? Uh, and now, how do we avoid that, right? The way to avoid is we have to train. We have to train our behavior to pause, whatever may be the urgency, right? Whatever may be the urgency, it's important to pause and realize, all right, should I be clicking it? Should I be taking an action or not? Pause and realize. And there are training modules out there. There are free training modules out there, anti-phishing. Now, there is also technology. So if you have Office 365, G Suite, they take these emails and identify them and spam it and put it into spam. So you don't have to worry about it. But as I said, they get interesting because they are getting smarter, because these technologies, they know that when the sending email is completely spoofed up, then the system is putting it into spam. If the links, so they get smarter with the links, smarter with the emails to make it legitimate, so the technology cannot stop them, so the human behavior has to stop them. Okay, and I will pause because I want to, as I said, keep it interactive. I will pause and see if there are any questions. Uh, okay, I have somebody commenting on the phishing that that it does happen. Uh, wow. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your experiences, folks. I wish I could share it, but these are personal experiences. I want to be careful not to divulge into personal information. So, but yeah, I'm getting some responses. That is great. I mean, yes, these are areas that it's important to pause and think before before we become a victim. Thanks, there. Um, all right. Any other questions in the chat? I can pause before I continue to the next section. Right. I think I have one more. Wow. Great. All right. Okay. Moving on. So the second one that we are seeing quite a bit of increase, and this has literally given the COVID situation, given the COVID pandemic, in the past 3 months, this has gone up 50%, right? As compared to what happened in the first half of 2020. And the main area that have been hardest hit are hospitals and healthcare organizations. And what is this, right? What is ransomware? Basically, ransomware is software that holds data at hostage, right? And they release they promise, again, they sometimes don't even release. They promise that they would release in exchange for a payment. Okay. And I have been in exercises, and I have been in real scenarios where I have been in the recovery, and I've been in the investigation and recovery and rebuilding exercise, and it's not pretty. It is not pretty because uh, they literally hold your data at ransom, and the way they do it is they take your data and they change the format of the data, something called encryption, that can only be brought back if they give you the key. It's a digital key, right? They give you some sort of an alphanumeric long text. If they give that to you, you can get your data back, and they charge money for that. It's your data. Sometimes, and this is more prevalent, sometimes it's not even our customers' data, right? It is, customers are the custodians of their clients' data. So now customers are held accountable for providing the security controls to be the custodians of that data. And when they fail in that, they not only get legal fees. There is three-letter companies in agencies involved in the investigation, and it's pretty bad. I want to share one example, and this is publicly available information. There's no confidentiality on this, but I just want to share a snapshot of something that happened in November 2020, where a cyber gang hacked into a random Facebook account, and they bought ad campaign um, containing a press release saying that another company was hacked. Another company is in ransomware. So basically, they used Facebook as a means to spread the message, right? Talking about a ransomware attack that they had done. Okay, and so basically, they started shaming companies by after attacking them. And this is a snapshot I will share. Um, okay, let me know if you see this. You should be seeing this. This is how the page looked, right? This is how they basically shamed a company after they compromised their security controls. Okay, it was pretty bad, and this was put on Facebook. This happened, so it's things like this that really impact the brand, impact everything, and they sometimes take the company out of business, right? That's the level of impact that they have. In September, and this is the health side of things, a single ransomware attack hobbled over all 250 US facilities of a hospital chain, and forcing the doctors and nurses to rely on paper and pencil. This is one. There is also something that happened early this year, right after the Christmas holidays, right before the COVID kicked off, where a major in Europe, major financial exchange company, they were under ransomware. And I experienced that. I was on the other side. I experienced that firsthand, where I was traveling from Europe, coming back to the country, and I was doing some foreign exchange, and they were literally doing it on paper. And I was like, "What happened?" They said our systems are not working, and I later found out that it was a ransomware attack. So it's out there and it's real. Uh, and the thing is that it has become so prevalent, uh, that the way we can protect ourselves, right? Because the impact is so high, the way we can protect ourselves is keeping technology and access up to date, right? I'm like a broken record of saying this, guys, is is patching, right? If you have systems, workstations, anything that you have, patch them to the latest, because what these hackers do is they compromise any inherent weaknesses in your system, and combine that with, let's say, get credentials, or even without credentials, they compromise it, and that's how they are able to enter into the system. So when you patch it and keep it to the latest level, the likelihood is really low, because access controls, ensuring your password is updated, making sure that it's complex. You don't reuse passwords, right? Across systems, that's important as well. Okay? And I'll pause here, and if there are any questions, any comments. I just saw a comment about ransomware. Yeah, it is real and it is happening. Yeah, as I said, it has been increasing quite a bit in the past few months. Moving on, second section. Why now, right? And definitely uh, why do we have to think about it more, right? I've always, when I work with small and medium business, and Alex knows this, we have talked about it so many times. How much, do we say that it's critical, it's important for us to think about it now, right? It is the reasons are twofold. One, the technology now enabling, and there are multiple because of the COVID, and we are seeing that change, that companies are pivoting towards using technology to enable their business, and we are seeing that those trends have accelerated. And these are the four trends that we see, that are moving faster towards companies adopting technology, as well as making use of different ways of using technology, basically pivoting from what they do, the normal businesses they do, and pivoting to how they do, right? And technology is becoming that enabler. So the first trend we see that will remain, and I'll take a couple of examples here, is the omni-channel behavior, right? The omni-channel behavior is interesting, because we have got used to, as consumers, we have got used to faster response, right? We have got used to so much of, I want instant, and Amazon has done a great job of that, right? I can do a 2-day, now we can do a 1-day. Right, that instant, whether it's gratification, instant response, instant thing, and that omni-channel, meaning multiple channels to connect to. You can talk over the phone, and it shows up on your online, and your response is recorded, and they will get back to you. That instant response has really enhanced definitely in the COVID, and that has accelerated, and that's here to stay. Okay. Uh, And I just got a pop-up for something. Sorry, guys. The second is the social affiliation bubbles, right? We are seeing with the COVID, with social affiliation, we are seeing more and more of new social bubbles forming where there's common. All right. Where there is common interest that is forming the new social bubbles, and where there is constant online interactions, and content is more curated for that social bubble, right? We are seeing more on LinkedIn. We are seeing that more on Facebook. And again, with the omni-channel enablement, that's becoming even more interactive and even more acceptable, even in the enterprise world. But small and medium business, definitely. A small business, I'm part of so many small business social bubbles that are forming with different objectives, right? Some are focused on marketing, some are focused on business development, some are focused on the financial accounting side of things, but those bubbles are forming, and some are focused on cybersecurity, like the way we are doing it now, right? Third one that we are seeing is the asset resiliency governance. What does that mean? There is new methods that are being, the new frameworks that are being enforced, right? Because there's more technology enablement, there are frameworks that are being enforced to ensure that businesses are resilient. They can come back faster if they can develop faster, they can go to market faster, and that resiliency more methods that are being developed are currently not mandated. So honestly, you won't see it prevalent now because of the whole COVID. We are being measured less to compliance on that front, but the next year or two, these frameworks, these methods will be more prevalent. If you're trying to do more online transactions, there will be certain governance that we need to follow. If we are trying to talk, online, there will be more privacy. What can I collect? What cannot I collect? Right? They are more prevalent in Europe. GDPR is a privacy regulation out there. There's some in California. But those regulations are going to be enforced even a little bit more as we mature. And the fourth, but not the last but not the least, right, is fail fast enablers. Technology is becoming more accessible, and it's affordable now that we companies are able to pivot. And if I can say something, based on all my discussions I've had with the leaderships in multiple companies, it's the time to pivot, right? Is where you figure out how well you're doing in the business, how well you will be ready for the next 2 years, right? And technology, the fail fast enablers, the technology enablers are out there that we as small business can plug into, and at not a big, the cost is very limited, and it's modular, right? Where new partnerships are being enabled now. This is interesting. This particular trend that we are seeing is becomes more interesting when large companies like Google, Microsoft, AT&T, they are supporting and providing you that technology at that low cost. I heard Amex has also started doing some of that. So these are technology enablers who are enabling small and medium business to afford these solutions so that they can pivot, figure out whether go-to-market would work, doesn't work, okay, let's do something else. These are trends that have really accelerated, and we expect them to remain accelerated. So this is where there will be more business, more technology enablement that's going to happen. And why now? I keep coming back to why now, right? What we are seeing that more companies go online, more business, how prepared are we, right? And these are numbers, right, team? But there is one, if you want to take one from this slide, right? And again, there's a report, it's available free. You just have to put your email address and you get this report right here. What they focused on is a survey, right? Doing surveys. And they figured out that I mean, doing service again, these are numbers, and again, you don't want to be in the 60% and 66 and 80%, because 60%, and that's a number, 60% of SMBs would go out of business in 6 months of a cyber attack, right? It's not a good story to tell, honestly. I've been in few investigations, um, and it's not a good story to tell. The challenge is how can we prepare ourselves, right, so that that likelihood is reduced. How can we bring awareness? And it's not a large effort, right? And that's where we come in. It's affordable, it's accessible. We have to plug into the right resources to get access to this. But yes, these are some survey results that are alarming. But I'm a positive guy. I want to keep it positive, right? uh, but there are certain things, that are certain basic things we can do to not be in that number, right? And again, as I said, I will pause here before I get into the next section and take any questions. Let me see, I'm opening up. Yeah, there's one question. Can legal softwares get hacked? Yes. So thanks for the question. Yes, any software, any legal is just a contractual term, right? Where it's a paperwork where we agree that, okay, there's a paperwork, but any system can get hacked, right? That's why every software, it's important for the software provider. Now I'm talking from a software provider. I know this is not that forum, has to ensure that they patch their software, right? I've had I've had large packages, right, that have vulnerabilities, and they were not patched. They are legal software. They were not patched, and that became a point of entry for the hackers to compromise the system. Okay, so you don't want, yes, legal software, yes, they can be hacked. Let's see another question. Uh, yes, there's a comment on the question that yeah, 60% of small business go out of business in 6 months. Yes, uh, yeah, it is high. Yeah, I agree, and um, I was concerned. I am concerned as well on this, and but again, as I said, we don't want our folks to be in that 60%, right? We have to ensure that we reduce the risk. The risk can never be zero. We can never have 100% secure, but how can we reduce the likelihood is what we strive for, what we work every day. And I've had sleepless nights thinking about certain scenarios. So yes, and in fact, I'm helping one of the companies now. They are in the post breach development, and I'm helping them to develop and get better, continuous improvement. I'll talk about that in a little bit, how we can achieve that. Yep. Okay. All right, let me move on. Okay, so cybersecurity essentials. So what this is the section that's important. This is where I get passionate about everything, right? How can we begin that journey, right? I'm not and this session, I want to keep it at a high level. As Alex mentioned, we want to do this monthly, right? uh, and we want to have that to build this over a period of time, and make it more accessible. As we make it more accessible, we want to build this over time. And so this session is going to be touching on all the domains, but I won't go deeper into each of the domains. But definitely leave me a chat or leave me an email, or connect with me however you want, omni-channel, um, to let me know if there is a topic that you want to dig in deeper about, right? It's important because I want to be collected. I want to take everybody's information and start building that material on a monthly basis. So we will be doing this, and I'll touch upon that at the end of the. So it's the three T's, right? Third third Thursday of every month, right? At 3 o'clock, right? 3 p.m. EST. So that's when we will have these sessions moving forward as well. I'll go deeper, but today what I will cover is what are those essentials, right? What are those essentials at a high level that we should be looking at to building a good cybersecurity for our companies. And before jumping deeper into it, I want to give us some taxonomy. This is again, I'm going to share this information and it will be a video as well as I can share the presentation as well. This is more of, hey, if you have a quick cheat sheet, right? What's the difference between cybersecurity, right? Cybersecurity is controls that protect your online and digital assets, right, against unauthorized use. What is cyber resiliency? Cyber resiliency is how fast can you come back, right? How fast, whatever the cyber incident may be, sometimes server goes down, you can't serve your customers. How fast can you come back? Sometimes it's related to cybersecurity, sometimes it's not, right? That's critical as well. How fast can you come back to providing services? That's cyber resiliency. Okay. Cyber risk is risk to financial disruption, reputation damage, right, from a failure of technology systems. Okay. And risk scoring, and I'll touch upon this a little bit more because this is important. You can do it. There is a just like our credit scores, FICO has a cyber risk scoring mechanism. You can self score it. Okay. A business email, and some information. There is some constraints, not constraints, some limitations to this score. It doesn't give you, it's a number, looks good, right? But it looks at it from outside looking in. So if a website is www.example.com, it's looking at it from, hey, what are the footprint of example.com out in the internet, right? It's looking at, okay, how well are there, what software does example.com use? They basically poke it, trigger it from outside looking in. So that's the I don't want to say constraint, that's the limitation with the score. So you don't want to take it absolute everything, right? Oh, this score is good doesn't mean it's 100%, but it'll give you, it's a good indicator to start off with. Okay. And I'll touch upon that. I have an example, I have a sample. I'll give you a quick snapshot. And the last one in taxonomy is compliance. Uh, Regulatory compliance, people must have heard about PCI, which is more credit card centric. HIPAA, which is healthcare. How do we maintain patient info, protect confidentiality of the patient information? Privacy, how do I protect confidentiality of any, or how can I protect the custodian? How am I a better custodian of my customers' information? In Europe, it's called GDPR. In California, CCPA. There are certain mandates. As a small business, there are certain mandates that we have to be concerned about and watch for because the fines in some scenarios are pretty high. GDPR is bad, so it's pretty high. The fines are pretty high. PCI also we have to be watchful. But again, some of them, they may not impact us because we delegate it off, right? Some small business, as we small business, we say, okay, Square, do it for me. So we want to ensure, because they are now our partners, we want to ensure that they are maintaining PCI compliance. If not, it will be a trickle-down effect to us. And I'll pause here before I come into the FICO risk score and see any questions, because I'll spend like a couple of minutes talking about FICO. I have a question. Yes, there was a question on. There's a question on. When is the small business cybersecurity webinar? It will be held on. This is the first one, but we will continue. It will be the third Thursday every month at 3 p.m. EST. Third Thursday, so 3 T's, right? Third Thursday every month at 3 p.m. EST. Okay. All right. So this is FICO. How does it help? Right. It's a number. It's a number on a scale of 835. And how does it help? It basically a better FICO score, just like our credit, right? Gives us access to more credit, right? It gives that builds that credibility of saying we are protecting those assets. So lenders have started looking into it, have started looking into how well, because more companies are going online and digital. So people have started, companies have started looking at FICO score as a means to add. It's not the only score, but it just enhances our ability. Second, it also demonstrates online security. It can help reduce insurance premiums, right? So as you go more into online and start doing business more, you need to look at your insurance plans, right? Are you protected when you go online? If there are any, so when you start looking at that, they run against, look at your FICO, they look at your, I'll talk about that, what they call digital risk management, dark web monitoring. They look at your assets, are they on dark web, things like that, to figure out what your score is, right? And then give out a code to you. So it helps reduce those premiums. It's not direct, but it is indirect through the insurance. Okay? And the way the score is configured, if you see the right side of the screen, and this is a real score of I took out all the confidential information, so it cannot be tracked back to any company. But it is a real score that we did, and it helps identify. There are certain areas. It gives you the red, very similar to our credit scores, the red, yellow, green kind of thing. So where it tells you, are you in the highest risk of experiencing a data breach, right? And then does this score band represent the elevated level? What's the level of risk? And also, how well is the business doing? The green stuff, the bottom, I always look for that positive message, right? Is this score band includes organizations that have the lowest risk and of the breach. So these are some indicators, right, that we can use, and it's a starting point. So what we do is we do this for our customers, and we help our customers do this and use that as a starting point as we continuously improve their posture. All right. Moving on, and I think there is a question. Okay. There's a question. Is the FICO cyber protection and insurance that someone can purchase for their software? That's why I said it's indirect. So the question is the FICO cyber protection and insurance that someone can purchase for their software? It's not direct, it's indirect, because the cyber insurance, the insurance company has to accept FICO. Most of them do. So we have relationships with insurance companies who use the FICO score, right? And who use the FICO score to give out premiums. So it's not a direct, but it's indirect. Hope that answers the question. If not, please feel free to reach out and I can have a detailed conversation on this. Okay. All right. Moving on. Now, moving on, and I want to spend a few minutes here to really talk about how are we as Entersoft Security making cybersecurity accessible and affordable for small business, right? This is where we get into some of the concepts of building trust, right? End of the day, what are we doing? We are building trust so that our customers and consumers can do business with us, right? How do we build trust? So this trust, how we build that trust includes, there are three spheres of trust. We call them spheres of trust. One is consumer trust, right? Anything that is consumer facing. So if you have a website, or if you have signed up for a website that your customers or your consumers are using to ship you something, to do business with you, or to raise questions, or to raise awareness, do surveys, any of that falls into the consumer trust. The more secure those systems and assets are, the higher the trust becomes. Okay. The second is partner trust, right? So if you are using a partner, as I talked about, let's just explain, right? or some other payment gateway, which is helping you do the payment processing for your credit cards. If you're using them, that's a partner, right? How do you ensure that they are maintaining the level of security that is required to maintain that level of security so that you are not penalized because you are the customer facing, right? They are your extensions, right? Partners are, and as small business, we all have partners. We all partner, right? So we want to ensure who we partner with is maintaining that level of security that you expect yourself to be, right? So those are controls, and it also talks about integrations. How are you integrating with them? Sometimes it is integrations at the technology level, sometimes it's integrations at the non-technology, at the resource level, right? How are, let's say you are giving your employees access to your partner systems, right? If your partners employees or your contractors are getting access to your systems, right, it's not an integration, but you're giving them access. How do you want to secure that, right? Those are, that builds the partner trust. And the third is platform. Platform trust is if you are developing a platform, if you are enabling a technology platform or you're developing it, then you have to look at it from the perspective of saying, hey, how well is my platform not only providing me services, but how secure is it? Right? Sometimes these are modules that you have developed yourself. Sometimes you plug in with open source or other modules. So when you do that, how well are you building it? How secure are you? And that builds that platform trust. Okay, and we have our solution offering, which is a very modular solution offering that's called Cyber Trust Essentials, and it's trustcyber.io. We have everything, and I'll just give you a quick snapshot in like few minutes. I don't want to make this a sales presentation. This is where we are learning, but I just wanted to give you a snapshot of what is covered in there, and then we will pivot into any additional questions, every additional questions and areas that we want to focus on. Before that, I think there's a question. Okay. Okay, so I have a couple of follow-ups that I have to do. Definitely, I've taken a note from the question that was sent to me, and I will all the questions and even comments that I have. These are being recorded, so I will respond to them. I will definitely respond to each one of you to ensure that these questions are answered and we can have a follow-up conversation. All right. Okay, so what we have done at trustcyber.io, and we are, again, Entersoft Security, it's a division of Entersoft Security, what we call Cyber Trust Essentials. We have built in modules there are 13 modules. They are the core essentials that we have taking kind of enterprise grade cybersecurity and created modules that can be implemented for our customers. Okay, and we have made it accessible and affordable. And what I will do quickly is just go to if you guys, Alex, please confirm you're able to see trustcyber.io.
I am.
Okay, great. I will quickly, and this will just be 2 minutes, I will quickly talk about how we package them. We have, as I said, we have 13 modules. Strategy and awareness, this is a set of packages, which is the basic, right? What it is it talks about awareness training. You know, how do you protect yourself and your employees, right? Protect yourself from being phished, PHI, phished, or through how do you protect yourself from ransomware? And then we also have cybersecurity assurance and compliance. So if you are, and we help you govern again, we help you identify what are the compliance requirements that you need to be concerned about. And we also help advisory. This is a quick advisory that we do. And as part of this advisory, the first advisory that we do is just understanding your business, understanding your technology landscape, understanding your resources landscape, including human and non-human, right? Landscape and figuring out what modules work for you. What's that advisory that we can help you? And what we are doing as part of these webinars, all the attendees here, they get 1 hour of free advisory, right? So I have a team of experts, right, and who can help and identify, who can help understand your business and help you identify what modules are applicable. The second set of packages is called Assess and Improve. And this is essentially, we help with cybersecurity audits, whether it is mandated by your customers, or it is whether it's mandated by your customers, or you want to do audits to continuously improve. And as I said, sorry, I forgot to mention, in the advisory, we also help you run the FICO score. So just to start off. Customer user access management, where we help you build the right roles into the customer users. And then vendor access, if you have partners and partners are accessing your systems, how do we do that securely? We help you with that. Integration security, so we have automation built in, how we integrate between different softwares. And cyber risk management, so we do the whole risk management. Again, these are companies that these are initiatives that modules that are available if there is a large set of softwares or even technology footprint that you have, whether it's on-prem or cloud. We help you protect those. We do the whole risk management from that perspective. And for a small business, the way it works is we use FICO and some of our scoring mechanisms, and we continuously improve them, right? So this module is specific to organizations where you have a wider footprint of technology and assets and human assets. Managed cloud security, if you have cloud, if you're doing business in Office 365, if you're using ServiceNow, Workday, we have experiences where we can do the configuration, identify what the threats are, and protect them. And the third set of modules is monitor and operate, where we continue to do vendor risk assessments, and where we look at the vendor. We want to ensure that your vendors are at the same level of security as expected. We have digital risk management. We have a module that's available if you want to look at how do you see any of your assets in the dark web, right, that is being sold, right? Your privacy, your information like your email addresses or things like that are being out there. We can help identify at a very affordable cost. We make that available. Insider threat, we identify insider if you're looking at who your employees are there any ex-employees who already have access that is there, right? If you have terminated somebody and then they continue to have access, right? Well, how bad can it get? So how well are you cleaning up, right? After an employee leaves or gets separated, even for a short period of time. We see a lot of holiday people who come in only during the holidays, so their accounts are still maintained, but we shouldn't be seeing activities during the rest of the year. So we manage that. We observe if there are any activities. We run our own, and the last is we run our own cybersecurity operations center. So this is for companies who we want to protect their entire cybersecurity operations. Then we become their cybersecurity arm, right? Instead of complete outsourcing of cybersecurity, so we can do that as well. So that's our. I just wanted to give you, as I said, I went, I guess, 2 minutes over. But what I want to do in the last 5 minutes is see if there are any questions. And I also want to get some feedback or anything that, Alex, you want to add. This is the time, and any questions from the audience, I would love to take that. Alex, anything else you want to add?
Nothing else in particular. I think I got the video working now. It turns out that I even had to Google it a minute ago and go to webinar does not allow camera access on the iPhone. So
okay.
So I got to switch to desktop. But no, everything you said is perfectly stated. And for all the folks in attendance here, I can't express enough the importance of monitoring your cybersecurity and being on top of it. And it's something that's, you work very hard, and everybody in your company works very hard, and you don't want to risk it over not being prepared and not taking any of the threats seriously. So having somebody in your corner like Entersoft with Cyber Trust Essentials, it's a no-brainer. So definitely get in touch with VJ afterward, and at least just have a conversation with them, because it'll be worth it for sure. Thanks, Vijay.
Oh, thank you, Alex, and thanks everybody for joining. I think this has been a great session. As I said, the third Thursday at 3 p.m. Of every month, 3 p.m. Eastern of every month, and we will send out the meetup. And Alex has been great, so we'll send out the meetup, and also the material from this presentation. We'll share that. And I just saw a question, rather a comment that that I'll definitely respond to and reach out in person for certain areas, certain not organizations, but certain industries, right? That we should be also looking at. Education is one that that was mentioned. Great point. Great point. We will look at that industry, and I will reach out. And if there are any other follow-up questions, I'm here for the next couple of minutes, and then we can get back to our day life, day jobs. Any other questions, comments? Okay, I think it is about time. Again, as always, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. The attendance has been great, and thanks for being interactive. I just saw a question come up.
Yep. Feel free to provide any feedback how we can improve it. We've got plenty of notes on our end, and we look forward to next month's event.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you,
you,
everybody, and we'll be in
Bye.
touch.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Take care. I know.